You'll notice that around the pub, if there's or be it a rumour or something circulates that something's gone wrong, you'll usually have a bit of banter thrown around about it, but then people will buck in and help in any way they can, particularly if there's someone who supports their community. They certainly can rely on support back from their community. The flood out of this one we've just had, same height as 2013 rather, and the same as the 1942 flood, which all of the older ones here claim that to be the highest in their memory. The water line was equally as high as I say, as the 2013. People are discovering the damage is probably not quite as bad. Some people have been hit worse. Different creeks have run in different ways in different areas, but it's certainly, it's taking its toll on people. It's probably a roundup of things. It's not so much just this flood is the latest disaster, but over the last 10 years there's been a string of natural disasters, be it flood or drought or flood or drought. We're going from one extreme to the other, and that for any of the rural people, that's making them really look at themselves as to whether their management is right, or some people will say, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's really not that they're doing anything wrong, it's just the seasons have not been going with them. But you often see them in a group of people, they'll put up quite a good front that way. It's more when you see them individually, there are some that are having a little bit more difficulty coping, but across the board I'd say most are coping quite okay here. When you get a one-on-one, if you have someone that's left behind at the end of the night, they might start to talk on about different specific issues they have. All you can do is listen and be as supportive as you can, and try and lift their thought pattern a little bit. If you can change the conversation a bit, that's the tactic I try to use. Or if I think I have something that's useful to them, you'll try and go that way, or try and be as supportive and say to them, mate, you're doing the right thing, I think you're on the right track, you stick with it, things will come good, that type of thing. I think generally they enjoy doing what they're doing. If they weren't being hit with one problem after another, they generally is the lifestyle that they're living and the enjoyment they derive from that. Like, we have vastly different types of people coming here. We're only a smaller community, but you'll have different people, be it their methods of farming or their religious beliefs, or there's many different type of people come in. I think they really do it because they enjoy what they're doing. Many of them would be very good at doing other things, but they'll stick with what they like doing. There's a sense of achievement when you do actually achieve what you're trying to get there. A lot of them have families or relatives, or a tie-up to the community as well. But I think what really drives them is that they enjoy what they're doing. They're just often going through some very rough patches, and they can probably identify them, but oftentimes the general public don't. Not just talking disasters, there's a fellow in here the other day, him and his wife have been having trouble, and he wanted to stay on and talk about that. Was something that he would not talk about with a group, but he was quite happy to sit and not reminisce, but to talk about what was happening. And at the end of the story, he thinks everything was great, he still loves her to death, and she just up and pinged off. And you can be as supportive as you can, but ultimately she's never going to come back. He's ultimately got to find someone else, and at the moment he's just besotted with her. They've been together for 20 or 30 years, and that's something that will be very hard for him to cope with, but he's managing it okay. But he wanted to talk on about that, So you just support as much as you can, and yeah, be very careful with what you say, I guess.